Well, howdy, y'all. This here is Farmer Dave from the Partnership for Research and Education in Plants. And today I'm going to show y'all how to harvest the seeds from your Arabidopsis plants. Now, why would you want to go and harvest them there little bitty seeds? Well, there are two main things you could discover. Number one, the reproductive yield, or how many seeds your plants produce. And number two, the germination rate, or how many of them seeds are capable of germinating. Thanks, Farmer Dave. I'll take it from here. Hi, everybody. As you can see from that cornfield, it was very hot, sunny. It was also pretty humid, and those kinds of variables can have a pretty big impact on the development of seeds. But if you look at your plants, you won't really notice any difference with the leafy foliage part of the plant. But inside the calyx, it could have a big impact on the development of those seeds. That's why we need to crack open the calyx and get a closer look at what's going on with the seeds inside. So how do you know when your seeds are ready to harvest? Well, there's three things you want to look for. One, you want the calyx to be ripe. Well, the calyx are the fruit of the Arabidopsis plant, and just like some of the fruits that we eat, they turn color when they are ripe. Let me pick up this one right here because it has a lot more yellowy looking calyx, and you can see they've started to turn color, and those are pretty ripe. And you can also see, second thing is that there are pretty much no more flowers, just a couple of flowers left at the end of the bolts. The last thing that you can look for is that the foliage or the leaves often start yellowing, sometimes turning a reddish color, and start dying. They call that senescing. So those three things, you get yellowing calyx, pretty much the end of flowering, and a change in leaf color. That means that they're ripe and they're ready to let dry. Drying is important for two reasons. First of all, it makes it easy to separate the seeds from the calyx. And secondly, you need to let the seeds mature so that they're capable of germinating. The plant prevents the seeds from germinating while they're in the calyx, and drying releases that inhibition. If you want to compare the germination rate of seeds, I recommend selecting 10 calyx of similar size from each pot of plants. I've already folded this piece of paper in half the long way and then in thirds like this. So it's already ready to be sealed. And then I cut off my 10 calyx. I get them into that center part of the paper. Fold those thirds over. Paper clip it. And then I can write my name and what kind of seeds are in there. And the date. Just like that. If you want to compare the reproductive yield of your plants, then you basically want to see how many seeds did those plants produce, the total number of seeds. And make sure that you cut off all the bolts from each plant, because sometimes they produce more than one bolt. So you just take a pair of scissors and get right down by the base and cut it off. And then I lay the bolt or bolts on a sheet of paper. This time I've folded it just in half the long way. And this time I can just fold it in half like that. And then again put the paper clip on it and write your names on it, the type of seeds. And if you're concerned about the seeds coming out the ends, you can just put some tape on like this. Looks like I'll need a little bit more on that end. There we go. After the siliques or bolts have been drying for at least a week, it's time to remove the seeds from the siliques. You'll need 2 sheets of clean white paper and then your packets of seeds. I carefully open the paper and gently tap my siliques out onto one of my sheets of paper. Make sure there's nothing left inside there. And then I can just gently tap on the dry siliques with my finger until all the seeds have been released. Then I take my second sheet of paper and I just shake the seeds onto the other piece of paper. This is to separate the chaff. The seeds are more round, so they roll off. And then if there's a few left, I can sort of just push them off with my finger. And I throw away the chaff. And I still had a couple of seeds left on there. You can see there's my seeds. And to count them, I usually use like a stiff piece of cardboard like this business card, and I spread them out into a line. Sometimes you can just push most of them off to a paper of the side of the paper and spread them out so that they're easy to count. And then I can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 like that, and every time I get done counting, push them off to the side like that and get a total count of the number of seeds, and then divide by 10, and that will give you the number of seeds per silique. To determine the germination rate of the plants, I simply replant the seeds that I've harvested and count how many have germinated after about a week. To determine the reproductive yield, I lay out my 2 sheets of paper so that they're overlapping, 1.5 inches or 2 like that. Then I dump my bolt, my dry bolt with siliques on it out. Look inside, make sure I didn't leave any behind. I think I had one in there. And I usually just run my finger down to knock the siliques off first, whatever I can. Throw that away, and then I just do the same thing. I just tap on them gently until the seeds have released. Sometimes you need to give them a little roll. Just look at them carefully to make sure that there's no seeds sticking to the chaff. Okay, and now I use those 2 sheets of paper the same way. I just sort of keep turning it, rolling the seeds off. A few left inside. Just keep pushing that chaff away until you've separated all the seeds out. And I'm going to dump out that chaff. So then I just do it the same way, kind of push most of them off to the side, and then spread smaller piles out into a single line so that I can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just like that, until I count that whole line, then push them over, and then I pull out another bit. And that's all there is to it.